trying not to gag. Crickets in the back eating her throw up. There's no exit to pull off of.
So hi, it's Justin and Tracy. We are on our first trip in the new car. We're using this as kind of a test or a dry run of our setup in April.
It's not a wet run.
Not a wet run.
It's dry.
Yeah, so really we're testing out the new car, some of the equipment we've gotten. Obviously with the Pogger in the car, we're testing out all of her setup. So the mats, the seat cover, the harness. She's used the harness before.
So far the seat separator's working really well. In the old car, she would get up like on the center console and put her head on my shoulder. Actually, there was a time we were driving to Florida and she crawled all the way up to the front seat and got in Tracy's lap. She weighs like 65 pounds. She's not a lap dog.
She was harnessed in on that trip, but she somehow figured out how to unbuckle it.
Yeah, she got that unbuckled.
Yeah.
She's a smart little pogger.
Too smart. I will say that we did notice just unpacking the car that
yeah, the trunk's smaller than I thought it was.
yeah. So like I know that like the Thule or the Tool or whatever those rooftop
Did you
cases
say
are.
Thule?
I don't know. Is it Thule? It's Thule. I have no
okay.
idea how it's pronounced.
I thought you were just
But those cases go on the top.
I gotta bring my Thules.
They're really nice, but they're also very expensive. So I will say if anybody else has any roof rack case
Now you're hypersensitive.
Yes, I am. Any suggestions on maybe some cheaper alternatives that still get the job done?
And what type of Thules I'll need to install it? I cracked myself up.
Drop me a comment below. It will be much appreciated. Oh, there's the Pogger. Buggy, what are you doing? Hey. She's totally
Oh, sweet. Is she? Oh, that's nasty. It's no longer a dry run. This is now a wet run.
Believe it or not, she doesn't actually get car sick. This is the first time she's ever gotten sick in the car.
First time ever throwing up.
Yeah.
But hey, great opportunity to say this is why we got a seat cover for the back. I'd be incredibly angry right now if she were. Oh, it smells so gross.
It's really potent.
Okay, so we are headed to the Ark Experience, not
Encounter.
Exhibition. Gee, I thought I had it that time.
No.
We're going to the Ark Encounter.
You can't get it
Nailed
right.
it.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar with what it is, they've actually built a full-size replica of Noah's Ark, and supposedly it's pretty impressive. You've actually been. I was supposed to go, but 2 weeks before we were slated to leave, I ripped my Achilles in half. We're actually doing this is ridiculous, but so Tracy bought me the tickets to this almost exactly a year ago for my birthday, which is March 8th.
We didn't do it.
And those tickets expire in a year. So we are on our way to use those bad boys up before they expire.
We've got the Ark Encounter tomorrow and then the Creation Museum on Saturday. And then we'll be headed home on Sunday.
And I've heard they have at the Creation Museum, they have real live dinosaurs, don't they?
No. Sorry for your disappointment. This is where I got you that stuffed dragon, though.
I'll have to get Cricket a stuffed dragon.
Yeah, it's not a cheap dragon.
Not a cheap dragon. We are about 3 hours away from where we are staying. We're going to be staying in an Airbnb. Tracy, why don't you explain what the Airbnb is like that we're staying in? Because I had nothing to do with booking that.
Yeah, so it kind of hit all of the different things we were looking for as far as proximity to the Creation Museum and the Ark exhibit.
How far is it from the Ark exhibition?
Exhibition. I didn't even get it right.
No, it's Experience.
You're confusing me now.
I know. That's the goal. If you start saying it wrong, then it makes me right.
Right. I think it's like 30. The Airbnb is like 30 minutes in between the two.
Okay.
But yeah. So the Airbnb, good proximity, good price point. They didn't tack on a whole bunch of cleaning fees, which if you know anything about Airbnb,
how they get you.
And, you know, the dog fees and all that. And if I remember right, this one didn't even have a pet fee. And they're very, like, pet friendly. Like, they provide extra blankets and stuff to put over the furniture so the dogs can be on the furniture, which is great because we already always travel with one of those anyway. But
several of them usually.
Yeah, but yeah. So looking forward to checking it out, and hopefully it looks as good as it is in pictures. And then obviously Wi-Fi. Justin needs Wi-Fi because he's got to work.
Yeah, I got calls this afternoon. That's why we're gonna get there at 3, so I can get ready for my call at 4.
Right.
Yep. But I'm not working tomorrow. We're just playing with the dinosaurs tomorrow.
With the dinosaurs.
You know what's actually funny is, so we're in Ohio, and it's actually very reminiscent of, I think it's...
Every other highway.
Well, yeah, no, I think it's around Danbury, Connecticut, up to Hartford.
So what you're saying is that if you want to feel like you're driving through Connecticut, just drive through the middle of nowhere, Ohio. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's almost like it's the same country. Do you remember when we were dating and I was driving from New Hampshire down to Pennsylvania?
Oh, don't tell this.
And you were texting me like every hour or so asking me how things were going, and I told you I was driving around Detroit. Or no, I said I was driving around Chicago at one point, and your response was, ooh, the Windy City. And then like an hour later I told you I was driving around Detroit.
My public school education failed me.
No, in all fairness, you were homeschooled too.
Yeah, well, I think the geography happened somewhere between the transition from homeschool to public school. Like, it just completely got missed in there.
I want to believe you.
So him saying Chicago didn't even raise any red flags because I had
Do you know what
no idea where Chicago even is.
Do you know what state Chicago's in? I'm going to give you 3 guesses. Guess. Where's Chicago?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Wrong. Next one. Rapid fire. Next one.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I just had to say the whole thing as if I was saying it in a sentence, and then it just kind of rolled off the tongue. But I don't know where Illinois is.
Hey Siri, play some Spanish rumba music for me.
Okay, here's new country.
Nailed it.
Your Siri hates you.
All right, y'all. So it is 9:30 in the morning.
Day 2 of our Kentucky trip.
Day 2 of the Kentucky trip. We are headed to the Ark Experience.
Encounter.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's exactly what you said so confidently yesterday.
I
too.
know. I've convinced myself it's the Ark Experience. I've been texting people when they're like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I'm like, "Going to the Ark Experience," because according to me in my own mind, I remedied this yesterday, and the Ark Experience is right. So the Ark Encounter. We're headed to the Ark Encounter. So we are about 24 minutes away. I got to pee because I drank a lot of water and coffee this morning.
Just stopped.
Yep, that's what happens. When you stay well hydrated, you gotta pee every 15 minutes. It's just science.
So Justin is peeing for the 3rd time since we've been here in the last hour. First night in the Airbnb went okay.
It's a nice Airbnb.
It is. It's like probably the nicest one we've actually stayed at, and it's very well stocked. The only downfall is the walls are thin.
Walls are thin. This is the first time we stayed in an Airbnb that's actually attached to the owner's house, and they have kids, and so it's not that big a deal. No. But it was just different. It was a new experience. I'll show show you guys the video of Cricket sleeping in the provided dog bed.
You got a video of that?
I got a video of
That's
it.
really
It's a great way to start your morning is to see a pogger curled up in like a cat bed.
So what are you most excited about?
I told you yesterday, the dinosaurs. I'm excited to see the dinosaurs and the dragons.
I told you they're not at the Ark, they're at the Creation Museum.
So that's tomorrow.
Yes.
And I'm excited just to see it because I heard like as you drive up on it, it's like really impressive. It's
It
bigger
is.
than you'd expect. So,
Yeah.
Little known fact. Noah sailed the Ark only at the equator because it's freaking cold. Real life size. Tracy lied to me. There's totally dinosaurs on Noah's Ark.
So I've got a confession to make. There were lots of dinosaurs.
Yeah, there were lots of dinosaurs. I got to see a ton of dinosaurs.
I forgot. For some reason, I vividly remember them at the Creation Museum, but not the Ark.
Well, there were more dinosaurs than regular, typical animals.
So what was Boo's favorite part?
I liked kind of all the thought that they put into how the different things were done back there, like all the water that you needed for all of the animals and the people and all of the food, and how did you take care of all the poop. I thought some of the stuff they came up with was really well thought out.
Yeah, I will say, it's like so much more built up. I was here 4 years ago and it was literally just the Ark up on top of a hill.
But they didn't have all that other stuff.
No. And like now there's a zoo and there's all these little food stands, and then there was this
Carousel.
restaurant. There's a carousel and a virtual reality experience.
Zip lines.
There was zip lines. I don't quite understand how the zip lines tie into the theme,
High ropes course.
but I might just be missing. I might just be missing.
Well, that's how they got the dinosaurs on the Ark. Was
Right.
with zip lines.
Yeah, they just strapped them up and flung them
They
in.
brought them to the top of, they flung them in. Brought them to the top of a big hill and then strapped them in and then zip lined them in.
And then there was this big, I said restaurant, it was actually more like a cafeteria. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Honestly, it was just good marketing. It sat right outside of the exit of the Ark, so by the time you get out of the Ark, you've used all of your willpower to walk by all of the snacks, and as you're exiting, big sign that says restaurant, and you're like,
Yeah, might as well.
might as well. All in all, I think it was a good experience. If we were to come back, what would we do different?
What would I do differently? I would change the time of the year that I would come. So, not simply because, it's 40 degrees right now, but they have a lot more open when it's warm out. I probably aim to come on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday as well. The earlier the better, because it wasn't super crowded for us. It's a Friday, but it filled up real quick around noon. And so if you want to avoid large mass of people, middle of the week is probably going to be best. Going back to the Airbnb, take a nap.
Hang out with the pogger.
Hang out with the pogger, who's been sitting at the Airbnb by herself since this morning.
He's holding down the fort, I'm sure, though.
Yeah. don't want to be throwing Cricket's poop bags away in the trash can. So Tracy puts them under the tire, and I forget that she does it. And then when I go to back the car up, poop poppers. And they're smashed into the driveway, and now I gotta clean them up. Second time.
Day 3, we're headed to the Creation Museum.
Day 2.
I thought yesterday was day 2.
Yesterday was day 1. We're on different days.
It's crazy.
You're in the future. What's it like out there?
It's not good.
Not good.
Seems a lot like the past.
Well,
We're headed into the museum. Surprisingly, this drive was supposed to be 10 minutes shorter, but a few wrong turns along the way and Justin yelling at the GPS, and it was definitely the longer.
because Siri kept routing me all over the place and not telling me which of the 20 different highways I was supposed to be on. It was totally Siri. It's been a doozy of a day.
It's been a doozy of a day.
And we haven't even started.
It's only 11. So we are headed home. We just stopped for lunch and we learned some lessons.
Our car is not conducive to eating in.
No, so when we're traveling with the pub, we always either need to stop at places that have outdoor seating or that we can eat in the car.
It's kind of cold today to eat outside.
Yeah, so we opted for eating in the car.
Tracy made a hot mess.
I think we all made a little bit of a mess, but my mess was significantly bigger than everybody else's. Definitely putting the mats to good use that we bought.
That's a fact.
What else have we learned from this dry run?
Don't put poop bags underneath the tire, because I never remember that you put them there.
Don't feed buggy bad eggs. All in all, I'd say the Airbnb we stayed at was a really nice Airbnb, just not necessarily what we would be looking for.
Not for a long-term stay. For a weekend stay, it was fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you need like a quick weekend stay outside of Cincinnati. Like, it was a really, really nice place. The host, like, stocked it full of stuff. Communication was great.
Yeah.
So really, it was just our first experience having a shared, like, being part of just one residential home. So just kind of lessons learned there as far as noise, Wi-Fi signals, things like that.
Climate control.
Climate control was another big one, yes.